Helix, and also you know her as the voice of Zelda. Here's Patricia Summersett. Yay, Patricia! Have you sit there? Good to see you. There's only one man on planet Earth that can be Captain America, Batman, Ezio Auditore, and Sonic the Hedgehog, and that man is Roger Craig Smith. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Hello, Calgary.
And our next panelist is equally adept at freaking us out in Resident Evil, as well as seducing us in Baldur's Gate 3. Here is Neil Newbon. Great to see you. Hello, Neil.
Go Oilers!
Go Oilers. Wait a sec, I was told no impressions.
I don't watch the bloody stuff, I'm just simply saying go Oilers, because he's good.
All right, good to see all three of you. I want to start right off the top just to say that absolutely we are going to have audience questions, and we've got a couple of microphones set up, and I think the lighting folks will let us know where those are. So if you've got questions for our panelists, go ahead and start lining up, and we'll get to you guys soon. But I've got a question. We're going to start with an easy one, I think, for Roger. What's the best video game company to work for?
First of all, I have a question. Does the smoke machine add anything to this? It's literally just it's just people talking, and it's like a rock show.
The question's more mysterious.
Exactly.
It's a detective problem.
Could I get a little more smoke, please, and then I'll answer that?
It's noir.
Nothing. It's just random. Okay, I love it.
So
no pyrotechnics behind me. Like
I love
boom. What was the question?
Best game company to work for.
Oh, I'm not gonna answer that.
Come on, easy one. No?
Answer that. Monopoly? Hasbro? Like, no, I'm not gonna answer that. That's that. Oh, good Lord, that's a quick way to end my career.
Okay, I have a
how about all of them, or any of them that will hire me?
There's a good one.
I'll go with that. Yes. The ones that hire me are the best ones.
I think every one of them has hired you.
Oh my gosh.
And I want you to just imagine going full D. Bradley Baker here for a second. Have you ever done something in front of the mirror where you're Captain America and Batman and Ezio and Sonic and
yes.
have a conversation? Have you done that ever?
Oh, of course.
Yeah?
I start every day. I brush my teeth as Captain America. I shave as Sonic. Just the quills, he's hairy. And who else was left? And then I go murder somebody as Ezio Auditore. That's how that works. I assassinate people.
You jump off the roof of your house.
Exactly. Into a bale of hay, because that's
leap
science.
of faith. Yeah.
Yeah. I take a leap of faith. No, I do that, yes. All the time. I talk to myself in various characters. I
gotta do it.
I need help.
It's part of the job.
Yes.
It's part of the job. Now, Patricia, you spent a lot of time in both America and in Canada. And done some work in both countries. Is there a big difference in the way you live and work in both countries? Different approach to things?
Kind of, yes. A little bit, I'd say. I mean, the work, because a lot of the companies that I'll be working for will be based in several different places, casting from all countries and parts of the world. So that's not necessarily a huge difference. But I think the lifestyle can feel a little different. But again, I spent a lot of time in Montreal, so that's going to feel different than most places in Canada or the US.
Europe, right?
And yeah, exactly. And I like the transient feel of that. I like the fact that it's bilingual/multilingual. And I don't like leaving. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I miss being kind of a minority voice there, where I speak English and a little bit of French.
Right.
And everybody around me speaks way more of every other language than I can, and I kind of like that. It keeps me on my toes, honestly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Both countries are amazing. I hold a dual citizenship, and it's the best. Like, I can't
and I guess it just brings a lot of color to the work that you can do. You can come at it from a whole bunch of perspectives.
Yeah, maybe. I'll probably never speak good enough French, speak well enough in French to be able to work
No one's
entirely
going to
in
grade
French.
this, by the way. No one's going to mark this panel, I hope, right?
Yeah, right. Comment ça va? Je suis ici. Actually, one difference is that when I am working in Montreal, I'll use a lot of French on set because a lot of the people that will be working will be French, and so I'll sort of sprinkle it in even if it's not what I'm recording, for example.
Right. Neil, how would Astarion describe coming to Calgary? That whole journey.
There's a lot of nice necks here. Which part of Faerun is this? It's been some time since I've been traveling around Calgary. But it seems very nice. Rather gullible people, which is lovely. Yeah, it's been rather fun, actually.
Awesome.
Although I'm still peckish, so let's go for a bite to eat, no?
Congratulations on the massive success for Baldur's Gate 3.
Thank you.
It's my question really to that is, how much has your life changed from the success? It's well-deserved success. It's an incredible game.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it. There's so many incredible characters, but how much has your personal and professional life kind of changed after something that epic?
Well, I mean, I've been very lucky. I've been acting for about 28 years, and 15 of them have been in games and animation, doing mocap and voice and that kind of stuff. So I've been involved with some very, very big franchises for a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm usually the bridesmaid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm never usually the bride. So, which has been great because I'm a character actor, like Roger and like Patricia and all of us really. We get to these great characters.
Yeah.
So to be front and center like this is new, but I have very strong boundaries with my work and with my private life and stuff. It's given me definitely more opportunities. It's been giving me a lot of opportunities to help people, which is really cool.
Right.
So we've done a lot of charity work, which is cool. I run a non-profit workshop to teach actors how to do mocap, performance capture and stuff.
That's wonderful.
And it's given me a bigger platform to talk about the things that I really believe in and help people if I can. It's also given me more work, obviously, which has been great.
Yes.
And it gives me opportunities to come to these wonderful conventions and meet the audience, which is cool.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's changed a lot, yeah.
Baldur's Gate is just filled with all kinds of incredible characters, and when you see them...
58 actors, man.
Yes, exactly.
Huge. It's wild.
But there's so much to mine there, and I'm wondering if anybody's had a conversation with you about a side project with these characters.
No, here's the thing. You know I can't say anything.
I know, but
even if
you
that
know,
was
I
the case,
have
which
to
I
ask.
can't say it is, I can't still not tell you, dude. That's a cul-de-sac, darling. It's got dead ends.
Well, okay. Well, we got there, so you can't ask that, guys. Roger, I want to have a question here about Sonic the Hedgehog because you played it for so many years. Congratulations on the massive success. Do you have a question about Sonic the Hedgehog?
Do I have a question about Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah, is there something left unsolved or a riddle that you might have or a mystery about the character?
Well, I would like to know when I'm going to get a chance to kiss a princess. That's, it has yet to happen in my sort of tenure. Yeah, I found myself the other day kind of like, because a lot of people come up and they've got all these different, there was a young man that had a really cool sort of like retro sweatshirt on, and it said, you got to stop and smell the chili dogs.
Yes.
And I did just find myself kind of going, I get the talking blue hedgehog portion of this, which is bizarre enough, right? The blue hedgehog from space. Why the chili dogs? It's just like, of all the things that we could have chosen for this little character to really be obsessed with, it's chili dogs. So I guess that would be the question for Sonic?
Yeah.
Victor, could you answer in Sonic's voice? What? Oh, no.
Impression.
Oh, no. Oh, come on. No.
Batman.
Yeah, you do know that Sonic the Hedgehog technically isn't real, right? Like, I don't know that I could ask him that question, Victor, sorry.
That's true, but you have access to the people that make him real.
True, I know.
Right? Yes?
Well, then I'm gonna put it to him.
All right.
Say, why the chili dogs?
Yeah.
What? Who lost a bet? Someone lost a bet somewhere, and it became chili dogs were the thing.
Well, all right, Patricia, we're going to have tons of questions.
Uh-oh.
But I want to ask, I think, something pretty, because this is in the past, this is Helix, the show that you were on.
Oh my gosh.
Which is a Canadian-made show. It was a sci-fi show. I don't
Yeah.
know. Anybody remember Helix back in the day? Yes?
Wow.
And my friend Billy Campbell was on that show.
Yes,
I know
Billy was,
Fantastic
so much
guy.
fun to work with, yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about that experience. It was made in Helix. There's a
Yeah, Ron Morris Helix.
Or
I
it was made
played
in
Commander
Montreal.
Winger. Yeah, it was made in Montreal, kind of outside of Montreal. I think one story that was really funny about that was, I was thinking about this recently. There had been a bunch of apple trees in this series where there was an apple orchard and they needed to look fresh all the time. And because they needed to look fresh, they ended up, we were shooting part of this in an apple orchard, and they had to paint apples onto a tree, onto a bunch of trees to kind of keep it consistent.
Right.
But it was a season where the bugs were crazy, and so it turned into this like nightmare swarm of like insects like swarming because they'd used something that had a sugar in it to paint the apples. And it was like ladybugs and like anyway, like the apple trees just got swarmed with bugs. It was nuts. And I was like,
This was a show
wow.
about a viral
Yes,
infection.
a viral
and
infection.
So you had all the bugs there that could have given you a real infection. Gross.
Including a bunch of biting ladybugs. But Billy Campbell is amazing to work with. He's just such a generous person on set,
Yeah.
and a voracious reader, which is fun to sit by somebody who's like got like a new book like every day. So.
It was a cool show.
Yeah.
And the Shogun actor, I forget his name, was on that show too.
Shogun actor. Oh gosh.
Yeah, the lead, I can't remember
his name.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But yeah, that show was great.
It's been so long. Like,
Well, recently we had this terrific Princess Peach game. Anybody play the Princess Peach game for Nintendo Switch? Yeah, super fun. They did a great job with that. And of course, I've been wanting, and people in the Zelda community have been asking for a Zelda standalone adventure where you play as Zelda. Is that something that you would be down for?
I get that sometimes, but I mean, Hyrule Warriors, you can play as Zelda.
Yes,
like,
you can.
know,
Yep.
That was really fun to do. I
Yeah.
loved it. Yeah.
Was there, because Zelda's a playable character, was there more work to do in a game like that than there is in a Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom?
I'd say there was quite a lot of line work and lore in that game. Like,
Yeah.
they really did flesh it out.
Yeah. Which
That was
makes it
exciting.
a kind of an essential pickup for the fans out there.
I think so. I mean, a lot of people actually haven't played Hyrule Warriors, not in the same way that they've played Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, but yeah, if you haven't, you know, it's a shorter game. It's not so intimidating.
Did you have a sense when you were reading lines and working as Zelda for Breath of the Wild how influential that game? It's my favorite game of all time. Did you know that it was going to be this atom bomb?
If you're going to be doing Zelda, you know it's going to be significant in some capacity, but there was no way to know how big the game was going to be. And also, when I auditioned for it, I didn't know what it was. It was secret, so it wasn't until I landed the role and then signed NDAs and went in to record the trailer that I actually learned that I would be playing Zelda. And so it was just, it's been an interesting journey through that. But certainly once I found out when I was playing Zelda, I was like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna make the absolute best of this? And obviously I try for any game to put my whole heart into it. But yeah, I went out and bought a Hyrule Historia immediately and started sifting back through stuff that I could use as like basic research. Yeah.
That's awesome. Neil, is there a significant difference of doing work for something like a Resident Evil game and, you know, shifting over to a Baldur's Gate? Does it feel like the same process, same kind of work, or is it because it's just so much more verbose and literate?
Well, it's the same like doing any acting project.
Yeah.
Depends which medium you're working in. But essentially it's all acting.
Yeah.
Obviously, genre shifts, tonality shifts. We use performance capture for both Resident Evil and also for 3 and Village and also Baldur's Gate with voice work attached. So technically it's the same. Tonality shifts a little bit, the workflow shifts a little bit. Because Resident Evil we shot in a more conventional way because it's a linear story.
Yes.
Whereas Baldur's Gate is this insane mass of Escher's narrative where you can go anywhere, literally almost choose almost anything in any combination of thing in the game. So that takes a lot more time, but also allows us a lot more, therefore, development of the characters.
Right.
So it was absolutely a different project, but the process is the same in just in very different ways.
Did you have a sense of the time commitment and the scale? Was that all
What do you mean?
there? Because Baldur's Gate was an early access game, and I imagine through that there was, you know, going back into performance capture and creating new pieces of content.
Oh yeah, I was working 4.5 years on this thing.
Amazing.
And I worked every week.
And did you know that when you signed the contract?
No, I didn't even know I was playing a companion. Actually, very similar to Patricia. When I auditioned, I thought it was just, oh, I'm playing a vampire. Probably be killed very soon. A big bad kind of thing. A minor character, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Wow.
And then I think I did my first demo session with Jason Latino and Josh Wheaton from Pit Stop Productions and Jason's head cinematic from Larian. And they told me that it was like, actually it's a companion. And I was like, oh cool, so that's going to be a year's worth of work, brilliant. And then we hit year 2 and 3, and it was going on and amazing and developed, and the story turned in this really amazing wild shapes and this depth and these layers, and it was mind-blowing.
So the writing was getting more interesting and
the writing was interesting from the beginning, but the characters were fleshed out in a way that the depth that we didn't know that they were going to go as layered as that. For everybody, not just for like my character or the other companions, but for all of the characters, all of them have real rich depth to them. It's amazing. And a lot of fun as well. Because my character, I get away with murder. Sometimes literally.
That's an incredible character. Ezio Auditore is also an incredible character, and the story that we've gotten with Ezio is pretty amazing as well. From a young man to we see him die in an animated thing.
Spoiler alert.
I'm sorry, guys. But have
This
we
character
seen,
that lived in the 1400s, he dies.
Yeah. Have we seen all of Ezio Auditore? Because he just popped up in Nexus and VR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. As anybody up here could probably, attest to, it's like we're usually the last to find out for good reason, because otherwise they'd be like, oh yeah, the game that's coming out next month? Oh, was I not supposed to say that? So they don't tell us anything. I would hope so. I don't know. I mean, it's crazy to be something that came out in 2009 that people will still stop by the table to just say and share with me the stories of what that game meant to them,
yes,
and what that character meant especially, and how lucky I was to get to be to go over the course of 3 games and have that character last for 3 games was incredible. I would hope that there could be a way of doing it. I mean, the Animus is a very interesting machine.
Totally.
Perhaps we access something. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like we'll see what happens with that, but they're not going to tell me. I'd ruin it. Yeah, no. But I would love to. I mean, it was neat to go back to Nexus for the VR and to kind of revisit this character. It's a little different, obviously, for a very different style of game. But I would love to revisit that character for sure.
Amazing character.
Thank you.
What? Because you.
All one of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
Huge Ezio fan right there.
Your check is in the mail.
Because you have all of these ways in, all of these different fandoms, what do people come up and want to meet you about most often when they come to an expo like this? Well, we'll start with you, Neil, sure.
I don't know, darling.
Yeah. See, I could have predicted that one.
I'm lucky. I get Detroit was a big game, which I've been a part of. Detroit Become Human.
Yeah.
It's great. Resident Evil, obviously with Heisenberg. Heisenberg.
Amazing.
And obviously Astarion's been such a big hit. So I'm very lucky. Yeah, I get those 3 of the main ones.
That's awesome.
Although why the hell you like Gavin Reed is beyond me. Like Gavin Reed, give me a coffee, dipshit. Get a move on. It's like he's a dick. Sorry.
Roger, what about you?
Definitely say yes to the dress. Everybody, just endless amounts.
Yes.
Say yes to the dress. I mean, it's obviously the biggest thing I've ever done in my career. No, I mean, without a doubt, it's Sonic the Hedgehog, just because it's such these. I mean, Mario and Sonic and Pac-Man, and like some of the Lara Croft and Zelda and all these characters that are just sort of like icons of gaming, and to be a part of something like that. I mean, it's predominantly Sonic the Hedgehog, followed closely between a toss-up by probably Ezio or Chris Redfield or Mirage now from Apex, which is great. Which, by the way, I have to address something.
Yeah.
I finally found out at this con, somebody was like, well, that guy down there, and they kept pointing to you when they were having me sign something as Chris.
Yeah.
And they're like, he calls you that thing. And I was like, wait. And I was, wait, Neil's character calls Chris the boulder punching a-hole? I was like, I didn't know that. I walked down to you and I was like, dude, it was you? And you're like, no, you didn't know that. And I was like, yeah.
Somebody had to explain it to me because I had zero context. I was so bad at Resident Evil games when I was a younger man.
Yeah.
That I just stopped playing them because I just was terrible at them.
Right.
So when I got to play, was it 5?
5.
5. I didn't play 5. I had zero concept what the hell they were talking about.
Right.
So we were doing DLC for it, and one of the Japanese team said, "Oh, we'd love you to say this line." I was like, "That's a ridiculous line. Why the hell? That doesn't make any sense." Boulder punching a. What are you talking about? What, has he broken his hand? I was like, "No, it's
Thank
funny.
you.
It's for the fans." Like, yeah, but okay. So when did this take place? 5. But my character wasn't in 5, so I went, into the. I'm an actor. And they just went, just say the line. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And then I saw it. It's even more ridiculous than
Oh
that.
my God, yes. No,
Punch it,
it's-
boulder.
Yes. But I do love the fact that the boulder punching thing became the biggest issue with like the the Resident Evil fans, that it's like you play this entire game where you're battling infected zombies, giant tarantulas, like Wesker standing in a field of lava going, Chris. But the boulder punch was a bridge too far for everybody. They're just like, no, that's fake. That's not real.
That's completely
You can't punch a boulder without hurting your hand. Okay.
What kind of rock is it? We need to know this stuff.
All right, have we got people lined up? I can't see with the lights. Are people wanting to ask some questions? Yes, okay. Why don't we start taking some questions right now? We'll start over there.
Hello, my name is Anne. My question for you guys is that if you were to do a new game or a movie,
what genre would it be, and what kind of character would you want to play?
So we're making a movie right now with the three of us right here, or these three right here?
Maybe
Or
we can all piece this together and make one. How's that? A Western?
Ah, there you go.
Well, I was gonna say I don't care, but actually, yeah, Western.
Western.
Western is a large genre.
I'd love to play cowboy. Let's do a cowboy.
Yeah.
Western.
It can be
We're in
open
Calgary, it
landscape.
has to be a Western.
Right.
But a Western movie?
Yeah.
Or like genre? Western movie or Western video game?
A successful movie that becomes a game.
Oh, even
Or
better.
vice versa now.
True, yeah,
That's
exactly.
the way it goes now, yes.
Yeah, Western.
No, I think I'd rather start with the movie starring us and then make the video game as opposed to the other way around, the way Hollywood keeps doing it.
Damn you, Hollywood!
Exactly.
Somebody bitter about Sonic the Hedgehog's success?
What? I don't know what you're talking about. What is it? There's a movie? Wait, there's more than one?
We're going to start a little Twitter feud right now.
Little indie art house, a couple of movies.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
Very big
I've heard about
village.
this. Yes,
Yeah.
it'd be lovely. And as long as I get to be the guy who, I don't know, punches a mountain in this Western, I think we're good. And then I'd be the mountain punching a-hole.
So it's a sci-fi Western.
Yeah, sci-fi, for
Okay.
sure. Oh yes, for sure.
We're good. Awesome. All right. Is that good? Thank you. On this side.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, it's really bright. So I know at least
Driving over here.
like beautiful. I know at least one of you is a video gamer, and so I was wondering if the other two are, and if so, like, are there any?
I'm a gamer.
Oh yeah, Victor's a gamer.
Everyone, lovely. Are there any titles that you're looking forward to, like a game that you really want to play soon, or maybe even a favorite?
I haven't played much of anything new in the last year, so I could literally choose any title. Cocoon.
That's a great,
I would actually really like to play that. Yeah.
great choice.
I'm deep into Helldivers, man.
Oh,
I'm lost to Helldivers.
Yeah.
Managed democracy needs to be spreader in the universe.
Roger, are you in Helldivers?
I am the voice of Mission Control.
Yeah, I knew it.
What?
Yes.
What? You didn't tell me that.
You know what? I was playing it the other night and I went, that's Roger. I
Yes.
know that is.
You're gonna, oh, please, look at this. I'm just Mission Control. Don't do this. Of all the people. I am from heretofore known as that Mission Control a-hole. So.
We all three of us know each other for some time now, right?
Yeah.
I did not know you did this.
Yeah, which is very funny that you even bring this up because I had forgotten about it entirely. And literally, Calgary is the first con. There were a group of about 5 young men that brought they brought their own printed propaganda signs from Helldivers, and they were like, you're Mission Control, and I was like,
That's awesome.
I am. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot.
That's so
and I was
great.
like, I'm in that. That's right. You're my first Helldivers autograph. But no,
I'm
it's
so hot for you right now. You have no idea. So hot for you right now.
He's smoking right
I
now.
know.
Oh my God,
Great.
smoking
Hell
hot right
divers.
now.
Think of all the people that would love to trade positions with me
Roger.
right now.
Can we play? I kind of want to play Hi-Fi Rush with you.
Okay.
That'd be really fun
Could
too.
become that.
Yeah.
I honestly, dude, I've been a horrible gamer for the last like 4 years now. Like,
You're pretty busy.
well, it's not even that. It's I just finally, like, when I can remember like Apex Legends coming out, and I've told this story before, I laugh because it's like, if you've seen Shawshank Redemption, the old guy who gets out of prison and like starts writing to his pals back in prison, and he's like, the world went and got itself in a big dang hurry. I feel like that with video games right now, where I'm like 15 seconds in, I'm like, oh, I'm dead. Okay, something's wrong with the game. Let me try this again. Oh, dead. What the? Okay, hang on. Maybe my controllers need some batteries or something. Like, everything's going so fast that I'm just kind of like, the world is in a big hurry. I'll just be a...
Roger was here.
Roger was
Install your
here.
PlayStation.
I hung my gamer tag up.
That should be your new line. You know,
There you go.
everything's going so fast.
Yes, everything's going. Yeah, and normally you gotta go fast, but
Are
not-
either of you three in Star Wars Outlaws? Are you in Star Wars Outlaws? Either of you three?
Again, if we were in this thing,
Oh, you
Yeah,
guys.
say it.
Oh, you
Say it.
can't say.
Oh wait, is that not even
Well, that's
announced?
the game I'm looking
There you
forward
go.
to.
See, I'm
Anybody
like,
looking
I don't know
forward
what
to
it
It
Star
is
Wars Outlaws?
announced, but not all.
Yes, so they're probably all three in that game, actually.
I punch boulders in Star Wars Outlaws. I was like, what is that? Is that a thing?
Let's get our next question.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Abby, and my question is more about the production of your voiceovers. Obviously, when you're in the recording booth, you don't always get a ton of context for what's going on. I mean, Patricia and Neil, you didn't even know what you were doing until you showed up.
Right.
So I'm wondering if there were any moments that when you saw finalized were quite unexpected or were really rewarding or that you most looked forward to.
I think sometimes I mean, I was surprised by all of it. I don't know, I'm always surprised. You never really, when you see it in context and you see, you know, scenes in succession and everything like that, I kind of let it go after it's recorded. I go, I don't know what's gonna happen. They might change it up, they might, it really, yeah. I'm in perpetual state of surprise. That's what and I sort of let go of everything. You give them several takes of something, they might approve something and then they might actually change it afterwards, depending on what they're editing and that sort of thing. So, yeah, surprise. That's it, really.
No, I mean, like, here's that thing as the actor, you're there to fulfill the fictional truth of the character for the sake of the whole vision. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes you can do a take that maybe not your personal favorite, but that doesn't matter because somebody else's vision may decide to go for this take that you weren't really that enthused about because you're being subjective, you're in the moment, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think you're constantly surprised in good ways often about, oh, that's how they did this with the stuff we were doing. I think I've been lucky, and I'm sure you guys, hopefully you guys have felt the same as well, that I've never felt lost in a project. I've never felt like I don't know where this is going or felt unsafe, like my choices are all over the place because there's no steady hand. I've always felt like I really understood the direction of the vision and the project. So I've never really felt that surprised in that way, if that makes sense. It's usually in little ways of, oh, they went for that version. Okay, cool. Okay, I wonder why, you know, they saw a quality that I didn't see or whatever. But that's because, you know, I guess we're all lucky that we get to work on great stuff, which is well written and with good people that are all driving towards the same thing. No idea if that was the answer to the question, but just what we're doing anyway.
Roger, what about you?
What they said. No, it's sometimes it's theater of the mind, almost all the time, because it's yeah. There's very often that even with the context that we are given, you still don't see the finished product, and it's such a massive like collaborative effort to make a video game. And so everything at the end, it's usually one of the reasons why I do like playing the projects that I've been a part of, because you want to see, oh, that's what they were going for. Oh, that's, and with the music, and now with more special effects and more of a polished, you know, look to it at the very end, because we're lucky if we see something even just sort of like a rough animatic very often. Or you're doing performance capture where you're in the ping pong suit and it's like, you know, it's like this bottle of water is actually a bomb, and you're like, okay. It's like, it's all, you're just like you're playing pretend for so much of it that it's like, seeing it at the end is incredible. Because yeah, it's like in the moment, like to your point, like you're just doing your job. You're relying very heavily on your directors and the production staff to just kind of like bring you along and give you that trust of like, okay, it's gonna be fine. It'll come together in the end, because we rarely get a chance to see it.
It's a big leap of faith.
Without a doubt.
In a good way, you know, if you like the people you work with, you trust them, then trust them.
Yeah.
To know what they're doing.
From just like straight voiceover, I've always used this horrible analogy where it's like we birth this vocal baby, and then we hand that vocal baby over to people who can make that baby ugly or pretty or tall or short or all these things, because so much of like when we're done, like it just gets plugged in different ways, and they can add effects to your voice. They can chop half of a line off to make it, and sometimes you're like, oh, that was the joke. You know, like there's things that happen like that all the time. So it's a lot of like a leap of faith and a lot of trust.
Very cool. I've got more questions to go on that, but we're running out of time. We only have about 10 minutes left. So
oh, gotcha.
We'll get on to the next one here.
Hi. I know that voice actors have to do a wide range of emotions. So have you ever been in a role where you had to be the loudest or angriest?
Oh yeah.
Like every session?
Yeah, I think there's certain fighting games that you end up really having to sort of push with every bit of octane you have within you and sustain that. And then maybe at the end of that session, you give like your loudest, biggest battle cries ever. And maybe earlier in that session, you've done something like really dramatic and small. So that can happen all in one session, really.
Efforts, man. It's like
efforts.
My danger one is being set on fire, dying on fire.
Oh, geez.
Oh,
that's a
the
brutal.
fire.
Oh my God.
But why stop there?
Why stop there?
Yeah.
And
You could be
also
falling
you just
from a
discovered that
cliff.
you lost your job.
Yes.
There's some really brutal ones that's why training is so important. to protect your voice and to mean that even though your voice is going to wear out, there's no way around that, at least you're not going to damage your vocal cords by doing these things. And people are becoming, in my experience, a lot better these days about protecting the actors. Even though you need it, they, like I said, they might do it at the end of the session, or they might do only a session on that for a short amount of time, etc., etc., etc. So it's definitely a lot better, I think, than it used to be, I think.
It's a very surreal thing, because you will literally have a room full of adults, grown-ups, sitting there having a very, very serious conversation about, I don't know, the vomit sounds, it's a little too wet. I feel like it should be like more like a
maybe
dry.
It's not wet enough.
Or, yeah.
Maybe we're in the right direction.
What kind of chunks of food were in it? You know, like,
should we put some sweet corn in there?
The corn is like, it's a little too, it doesn't get picked up.
You're right,
well.
you're right.
I'm thinking more like potatoes, like stew.
Oh, potatoes are good. We haven't done
that stew.
Mashed or
okay.
regular?
Right, cool.
All right.
Neil, we're gonna need you to do a little more potato stew vomit for this one.
I'm sorry, what?
Potato stew vomit, Neil. You gave us a little more creamed corn on that last one. We'd like a little bit more, like if you've had bad potato stew, right, Neil?
Well, I mean, yeah, sure. I understand what you mean.
Okay, good. So on this one, just and by the way, you did it for about 2 seconds on that last one. We're gonna need at least 36 seconds of vomit on this take.
Okay, can I
Don't worry, it's vegetarian.
And that's our panel, everybody.
Yes,
no,
yeah,
I'm just kidding. Let's go over here on this side.
Improv. Yes.
Hi, I wrote my question down. I'd like to speak about representation in video games, talking especially about people with disabilities.
Right on.
We're not really seen, and I was wondering if you see a future where there is a mainstream character in a mainstream video game that is disabled, who hasn't been augmented to have that disability taken away.
Right.
Right.
That's great.
Gosh, I hope so.
I definitely,
I mean,
that's gotta be coming. That has got to be coming. No doubt, no doubt.
I've also been seeing a lot more like information on that about studios paying attention to it and understanding that a lot more. That this is super important to have and incorporate. And oh god, it's killing me. There's an Apex Legends player. Oh god, I follow him and I can't remember his name, but it's amazing. He's able to play the entire game and control everything, and he's crushing it using just his mouth.
Wow.
And he's just amazing. And it's like now all these adaptive controls and things that are coming out. I think game companies, and again as actors, it's like it's so we're so far removed from those processes when they make these decisions. But I think people are becoming very aware of it, and it's in their best interest to do this. So I would hope so that we see an antagonist, or not an antagonist, a protagonist, and an antagonist that doesn't have to be augmented to be a part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of movement, and I think disabled players are seen a lot more. There's a great company called Special Effects who just got the BAFTA Fellowship because they've done such incredible work at helping people with all kinds of different physical disabilities be able to access games more. I think, yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, just to say what Roger said, we're actors. We don't have any kind of control or power in that way. All we're trying to do is obviously create performances with a narrative. But I definitely agree that games companies are aware of it. They do talk about it, and it's just about finding ways to be able to represent without patronizing, without undermining at the same time. So I think they will, absolutely.
I think it's coming. There's a huge movement in accessibility options, and I think there's a much bigger awareness that the gaming community is all of us, and we need to be talking to all of us. So great question, though.
Great question.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you.
Hi. I was just wondering if any of you expected the reaction to your characters that you played. It's like,
which ones?
I guess
this is all the characters,
yeah,
right?
just for you guys. For Zelda or Sonic or Astarion. Mirage is my favorite character. Roger, brother.
She got bamboozled.
Yeah.
I know that Zelda is beloved to many people around the world, but you don't really. No, not really. I don't think I could have ever expected the swells and the reactions, and the fact that I'd be sitting here 7 years after the initial game was created, that I got to be part of, and I'm still here, able to talk to all these people and see all these tattoos and share stories. Yeah, it's mind-blowing, and I pinch myself all the time. So, yeah, once again, state of surprise and awe. Awesome.
I think, and as actors, it's like it's a surefire way to just crush a project. If you're like, man, this is gonna be huge.
Right.
We're gonna make so much money. This is gonna be awesome. It's like you're kind of like, gosh, I hope this works. It's like you're hungry for everything, to the point where even with Apex Legends, I remember that we were recording the trailer for the game, and I was still sort of like unaware of what it was that I was a part of or what we were doing. And I remember like eating lunch with the guys, one of the creative directors on the project, and he was telling me that they were gonna release the game in November, like January or something like that, and this was like November, and we were recording a trailer for it, like performance capture, and then he was like, yeah, we're not gonna announce it, we're gonna pre-announce it, we're just gonna drop everything, it's gonna be free to play, like all in one day. And I was like, good luck with that. I was just like, oh, that's great. I'm like, here we go, I'm gonna be a part of a stinker. You know, it's like, I literally was like so pessimistic, and I
straight to VHS.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, it's straight to DVD, great. You know, like, and I literally was thinking, there's no way. And then they released it on Super Bowl, the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah. And I had friends texting me kind of going, are you in this new game? And I, because of NDAs, I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, is this weird, like smart aleck, you know, guy? And I was like, I think so. And I fired it up, and it was like, yeah, no, I don't think ever. And also acting is like, you want it, like you stay hungry, and so everything you're a part of it, you want it to succeed, but you can't just assume that it will. Right. So no, I don't know. I never have any expectations for, it's a miracle that I'm on this stage, sitting next to these people. I'm just like, you guys do know who I am, right? Like, I shouldn't be here.
You're Sonic. We know who you are.
Yeah. I mean, like for you, like were you?
No, not at all. I mean, I agree completely wholeheartedly with both Patricia and Roger. There's never an expectation about how it's going to do. For me, my job is simply to be a part of the ensemble, do the best job I can, be as creative as I can, and then just see what happens, man. I mean, you make your baby together with all of it. You know, the whole family makes the baby, right? Yeah. And then you offer it up to the players, the audience. It's up to you how you feel about it. I definitely didn't see the reaction that Astarion has garnered. No, not at all. That was like, I'll be lucky if I'll be one of the minor characters in the thing. Literally didn't see it coming. I'm very grateful for it, primarily because people got it, I think. It was the only time I've ever been truly nervous about a game release. Usually I'm kind of like, okay, that was fun, on to the next thing. This time I was genuinely nervous because of the writing and the characters that Larry and the amazing writing team, and also the vision that Swen had and the team had, the amount of passion we put into this, etc., etc. Yeah. And every game takes passion, hey? It's not like unique. But I think because we were trying to do such really interesting things with the characters, it was always going to be a risk. And I think because we didn't know if it was going to work or not, that ultimately we just wanted to make sure people got it, I think was my thing. Don't write the character off immediately, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Because on paper it's like, oh yes, hedonistic vampire, blah, blah, blah. But actually when you take off the mask, which is actually a mask he wears, and you see him for real, you know, I really wanted people to experience that. How they were going to feel about it, I don't know. But this was new, this is a whole new thing.
Hey Victor, I do see a sign that says we're supposed to rap. So
yeah.
Do I lay
rap,
down
thank you.
If you could just start rapping, it would be amazing. There it is. Oh, I'm not doing the rap.
My name is Shari, and
We're so happy to be here.
Eric, gotta go fast.
Oh my God.
That's amazing. In some of the biggest and best video games of all time, give it up for Neil Newbon, Roger Craig Smith, Patricia Summersett. Thank you so much. And I think that's about it for Calgary Expo as well. Thank you for coming to the Expo. Thank you for coming to this panel. And we'll see you next year. Thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, thanks, don't leave though. We're gonna do a quick photograph. So we want all of you guys in it, okay? We're gonna do an on-stage photo.